Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we once again look at Harmon Smith getting incredibly salty over Palworld because it plagiarizes Pokemon apparently, despite evidence to the contrary. But anyways, we're gonna go through Harmon's video here and listen to him salt more over Palworld because he knows for a fact that Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, and Nintendo have all stopped caring about Pokemon's quality. So when he sees that Palworld is doing rather well, he tries to convince everyone that it is, in fact, not doing that well. But before we begin Harmon let his salt session, I'm gonna tell you all that I'm actually going into this one blind, and all I really know about it is that it was recorded in landscape mode on his phone instead of properly through a webcam. So let's just jump right into the middle of this train wreck of a video and try to sort this mess out.
Over the past couple of days, I've been focusing quite a bit of time talking about Palworld. I've been focusing on the game itself. I've been talking about the plagiarism, the obvious, blatant, we know it's plagiarism. None of this, oh, we can't know for sure crap. We know it's true.
And yet you don't provide any examples for how Palworld is plagiarizing anything, so we'll just dismiss that claim right here and move on. I mean, yeah, a lot of the characters may look similar to Pokemon characters, but they're distinct enough to be their own thing, and on top of that, you can't trademark eyes, art styles, and the like, so... Oh, and another thing. Both Nintendo and Pocket Pair, the developers of Palworld, they're both based in Japan, where fair use is literally not a thing. So if Nintendo was going to issue a lawsuit towards Palworld, it would have happened years ago, literally. The only reason Nintendo put out that statement that they were investigating Palworld was to shut Nintendrones like you up, Harmon. I swear to God, man, Palworld has just sent the Nintendrones over the edge. They are like mad, man.
I've been talking about that for a while. I've been talking about the reception a little bit. And now that, I've had time to sit down a little bit and, look at, the general state of things and what people are doing, this is, I think, the stupidest thing the YouTube community has ever pulled.
No, Harmon, the stupidest thing the YouTube community has ever pulled is getting you up to a point where you can run ads on your video and make money from said ads. The stupidest thing the YouTube community has ever done is come to Quantum TV's defense in spite of all of the evidence that has come out that should have gotten him permanently removed from YouTube. Yet he's still on here. Cue the Quantum TV twats getting on this video and spamming the hell out of it and harassing me for no other reason than I mentioned Quantum TV's name in a negative light. Simply hyping up Palworld is actually one of the smarter things that the YouTube community has done, because just like Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring before it, Palworld actually has love and care and effort put into it. Palworld is actually trying to innovate, something that Nintendo themselves used to do, but they have long since stopped caring, at least as far as the Pokemon IP is concerned. And I know that a lot of the stuff that I mentioned earlier is actually YouTube itself's fault, at least the Quantum TV stuff, but still, man.
Backing an obviously plagiarized shovelware product in an attempt to downplay Pokemon.
Starting off strong with assault today, I see. No, Harmon, Palworld isn't plagiarized, and it damn sure isn't shovelware. But you want to know what absolutely is shovelware? Pokemon. Seriously, folks, I want you to, without batting an eyelid, to type in the comments how you feel about the fact that Pokemon is a scam, and we absolutely can call Pokemon shovelware. The Nintendo Switch Pokemon games have proven that Pokemon is a scam and shovelware. Seriously, tell me I'm wrong.
Because that really is all this is. That's all I've said. Palworld's, the enthusiasm around it is all done out of this idea that this is somehow going to ruin Pokemon and Game Freak, the biggest game in the world. Oh, Game Freak should be embarrassed that this game has 2 million players on Steam right now or whatever.
No, Game Freak should be embarrassed that a small indie studio who basically started off with literally no budget for the game, $10,000, and as what they call basically the antithesis to good game design, is basically doing something with the creature collector RPG genre that nobody else has really done before. Seriously, Harmon, answer me. In Pokemon, can I capture mons, or hell, even people, and then enslave them to do forced labor at my base while I go off adventuring? Can I make my Pokemon, in the Pokemon games, sleep outside on straw mats while I go inside a nice building and sleep in a proper bed? In Pokemon, can I butcher my Pokemon for food and crafting materials? Can I even build stuff in the Pokemon games outside of Pokemon Legends Arceus? Oh, wait a minute, I remember now. No, I can't, and you can't either, Harmon. So please, stop talking and let this go. You are not coming off, with good points.
Never mind it released at a lower price point. Never mind that the product is obviously plagiarized. Never mind it's a flavor of the month game. Never mind that, people are only enthusiastic about it because of the Pokemon elements, right?
Apart from a few designs, 2 of which are in the game but not actually encounterable nor catchable, and the capture mechanic, name me one way that Palworld has plagiarized Pokemon, Harmon. And even then, those aren't trademarkable, patentable, or copyrightable. You can't just trademark an idea or copyright it or patent it or whatever, only your expression of it. And that being the case, that means Nintendo can't sue, as they have no legal leg to stand on. Besides, as I said before, both companies are Japanese and Japan has no fair use laws, so if a lawsuit was going to happen over Palworld, it would have done so by now. I know you aren't going to do it, but try and name me a single way, apart from the above-mentioned stuff I mentioned, that Palworld has mentioned or plagiarized the Pokemon IP. It would certainly give your videos some weight.
The stuff that was obviously plagiarized from Pokemon. No, let's pretend that this is the biggest game of the year. We saw something similar last year with Hi-Fi Rush, where YouTubers were gushing over this game that they obviously would not play if it was a Nintendo exclusive, right?
Actually, a lot of them would play something like Palworld if it was Nintendo exclusive, Harmon. You know how I know that? Because Palworld actually tries to improve on the formula set forth by Pokemon Legends Arceus. That's what we want to see from Nintendo, some damn innovation. And because of sheep like you, who just suck up everything Nintendo puts out without calling them out and or questioning them for their crappy business decisions, you just blindly defend them as if they're the second coming of Christ. Doing that doesn't make you a fan, Harmon. It makes you a fanboy. Or putting it more aptly, a Nintendo simp.
We're kind of seeing this now with Palworld, right? Where a lot of these YouTubers are coming out saying, "Oh, I would still be a fan of Pokemon if they would evolve the formula and do something just a little bit different." And then meanwhile, they act like Pokemon Legends Arceus doesn't exist. They don't act like the spin-off games don't exist. They
Harmon, have you not been paying attention to the main games? Those are the ones that most people play, and they have gotten objectively worse, or rather, incredibly stale over the years. It's why I've been calling Pokemon a scam for the past several years. Even Pokemon Scarlet and Violet going open world and allowing you to do things in the order that you wanted to wasn't that big of an improvement over the other Pokemon games, because what we saw in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we saw everything that it had done rather, in other games, and better to boot. That is not a subjective opinion, that is an objective fact. Also, Pokemon Legends Arceus is a spin-off game itself, and while it was a step in the right direction, notice how Game Freak didn't make another Pokemon game like that. Kinda speaks volumes about how much Game Freak truly cares about the Pokemon brand, doesn't it?
Essentially, what I'm saying is that it feels like the people complaining about Pokemon are going to be complaining about it no matter what, right? I'm an old school fan. I've been dealing with this since Gen 2, right? I grew up being told that Pokemon was only good in the first generation and that only the first 151 were the real Pokemon and that everything after that was fan fiction. I remember seeing people on forums writing essays on how like everything after Gen 1 wasn't like a real Pokemon.
I didn't really care about the internet back when I was a kid, and I don't have any concrete evidence for its existence back when I was a kid, but were these forums even a thing back then if the internet actually was a thing? Like, genuine question. Also, Harmon, back when I was a kid, only one of my friends stopped liking Pokemon because after Gen 1, there were too many for him to count. He used to be able to name all 151 Pokemon. Now, it's stupid to stop liking a game because of too many monsters if you ask me, but I can understand his reasoning. But apart from the jock kids in my school, no one actually made fun of anyone for liking it. Also, quick question. What exactly does this have to do with Palworld? Are you gonna get to the point anytime soon? I have other things to do, you know.
Like, I could probably dig it up if I really tried, but like, you know, I remember that happening, right? You know, and it became so prominent in the community of people just attacking this brand just because it was popular. Like, how dare you still like Pokemon? You know, people started coming up with a term for it, Gen 1ers, right? And, you know, these people and their typical behavior patterns, their attitudes, the way they went about things, like the fact that they obviously weren't actual fans and only played Pokemon back when it was popular because it was the new trendy thing and dropped it.
Sorry to interrupt him in the middle of his little rant there, but he's projecting again. He's saying that the people who criticize Pokemon aren't real fans and that they were never fans of the brand to begin with. Harmon, I said it in the last video, I've said it earlier in this video, and I'll say it again, but if brains were taxed, you would get a refund. Harmon, the real fans of Pokemon criticize it because they want the Pokemon mainline games to be the best series of games that it possibly can be. And brain-dead sheep like you just accept anything Nintendo shits out without any form of questioning it or criticism of it. So if anyone isn't a real fan here, then it would be you, my friend. I'm harsh on Pokemon because I don't like it when I get scammed out of my hard-earned money by Nintendo, which tends to be the case for about 99% of people out there. A true fan of something will want it to be at its very best, no matter what it is. It's people like you who aren't real fans because you don't care about the brand. Hell, you don't even care about the games. The only thing you care about is which system it came out on. Just like the Xbox and the Sony ponies.
After it stopped being the new trendy thing, right? You know, these people started being a joke in the community to the point where, like, they really couldn't get away with their nonsense. Nobody took them seriously. And what's been happening over the past couple of years with Gen 8 and, like, the Dexit thing and this and Temtem, like...
Again, I apologize for interrupting him, but this time I have to ask, what in the hell does freaking Temtem have to do with the current situation, Harmon?
What I'm seeing from people, like, religiously pretending as if every other monster-catching game in the industry is, like, somehow better than Pokemon, even though they aren't. Like, what it seems like, it's the same thing over again, right? Where people who don't play the games are complaining about them in order to gain an audience of people who want to see the games fail.
And that right there was projection if I've ever seen it. Tell me honestly, folks, is that literally not what Harmon does in every single one of his videos? He finds what he claims are these flavor of the month games, air quotes, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. And he does it because he wants to see the games fail and to build up an audience. Is that literally not what he's doing here? He's doing it in this video, he did it in the last video I covered on him, and he's going to be doing it in several more of these videos with Palworld that I'm going to cover on him. And he's also bringing it up with other games that have literally nothing to do with Palworld, like Temtem, for God's sake.
It is ridiculous to me seeing how many people, like, just obsessively want to see these Nintendo franchises go under, right? You know, the Actman, Mutahar, Rage and Golden Eagle, Angry Joe, to name a few.
Have you ever noticed that in Harmon's eyes, if you dare to even think about criticizing Nintendo or their games in any way, you're not a real fan. You hate Nintendo and you want to see Nintendo and all their brands go under. Yeah, me too. Harmon, criticism does not mean you hate the thing that you are criticizing. Criticism means you're providing feedback on what you don't like about something and how you think it could have worked better. Man, and we still have 5 minutes of this boring nonsense left to cover. Harmon, please hurry up and get to the point. Unlike you, I and my audience have better things to do than listen to your boring verbal diarrhea.
Right? Like, it's crazy seeing people push these insane narratives that, like, Pokemon ripped off Dragon Quest. Like, what? They don't look the same at all. Like, when you compare the Palworld designs to Pokemon, you can see, like, what assets they ripped and what they applied and stuff like that. Like,
the whole Palworld plagiarized Pokemon thing has been debunked, Harmon. Please do some research before making these videos, if you don't mind.
Like people are doing, like, investigation work, like, proving this, right?
No, Nintendo, Game Freak, and the Pokemon Company, or maybe it was just the Pokemon Company, I don't quite remember, and I really don't care. They only put out that statement saying, we're investigating Palworld because we've received numerous reports of copyright infringement or some bollocks like that. No, they took down that Pokemon mod for Palworld mighty fucking quickly. I mean, just like that. Just like that. That's how quickly Nintendo took down the Pokemon Palworld mod. But the thing is, if they could do that, why haven't they gone after Palworld yet? Dude, do you not see the problem? Nintendo has literally no legal leg to stand on here. If they tried to sue Palworld over this, they would be laughed out of the court in a heartbeat, Harmon.
Oh, how dare people criticize me for enjoying a video game? You know, a game that's obviously derivative of other properties, a game that's uninspired, a game that people won't even remember, like, 5 years from now, right? Like, how dare people criticize me for enjoying this obviously plagiarized project? Hey, genius, you can like bad video games, right? Like, there's nothing stopping you from, like, playing these weird knockoff properties if you want, but don't you dare come out and try to say that it's wholly original, that it's nothing like the product it's ripping off, that it deserves to exist, that it's, like, objectively a good game.
Considering how salty you get anytime a game that is widely regarded as good comes out, then yeah, this game is great. It's the bee's knees, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the only reason anyone remembers Pokemon at all is because Nintendo, Game Freak, and the Pokemon Company International, as well as brain-dead sheep like you, Harmon, keep releasing it, buying it, en masse, treating it like they're the second coming of Christ, and you all refuse to just let Pokemon die or criticize it. But have you not seen the video where that Twitter user admitted to doing what he or she did out of nothing but bitterness? Oh yeah, that's right, you said that the debunking itself had been debunked when you didn't provide evidence, so your claim is dismissed. Next.
Right. That's another aspect of this that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, is that, like, the gameplay itself isn't original either, right? It's taking elements from Fortnite and Genshin Impact and Ark Survival Instinct, right? Like, nothing about this game is original, right? In any way, shape, or form. There's no creativity. It's like, it's slop, basically, to quote Vosh.
Sorry, folks, but I can't listen to any more of Harmon's slop. That's enough for one day. Or at least for right now. Also, I love how he says nothing about Palworld is original and how it ripped off other games, when we can literally say the exact same thing about Pokemon. Nothing in Pokemon is original. It's just the last game in the series with a different coat of paint. They rip assets from the older games, etc., etc. The difference is, Harmon, should you be watching this, is that what I'm saying is factually correct. Everything you've said is absolute horse's piss. There's about, 5 more minutes of Harmon's nonsense in this video, but I really don't care to listen to it because it'll have to take him those 5 minutes just to get to the point he was trying to make, and I have my Palworld game that I need to check up on, as it's been running in the background as I make this video on my good laptop. Anyways, I'm sorry for cutting the videos short, and I apologize if this video came off as boring, but Harmon Smith, the man, the myth, the legend himself, is so boring, so naturally, it makes my videos boring. But if you've watched this video this far and you enjoyed it, thank you very much, it means the world to me. Anyways, I will see all of you later, and bye-bye for now.